Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Not to be a backseat driver, but can you say for sure you got the best monthly payment possible on your auto loan? Could it be that you might have gotten a better deal by shopping the loan at a few places and have a lower car payment? Next time, before you go car shopping, visit Communication Federal Credit Union first. Our auto loan experts will find you a perfect loan and get you the lowest monthly payment we can. Communication Federal, your auto loan experts. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, it has been a minute, but we're back. We're live, and I'm not dead. Reports of my demise were greatly exaggerated. Well, maybe only slightly. Anyway, so we are here. This is the Weekend News Roundup. I am Rick Robinson, joined by some of my panel members today. First, we have Brad with the good hair. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. And the, rumors of my demise have been anticipated, but here I am disappointing people all the same.
That's because you've reached the point in your marriage where your wife wakes up every morning, looks at you and says, should I smother him with a pillow or go make coffee? Lucky for you, so far coffee has won the day.
You're still breathing. I get that a lot.
And then we have Sean with the no hair except for the face. How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Got to be kind of bitter that your face has more hair than your head, right?
No, not at all. I'm just glad I can grow it somewhere. I mean, let's be honest. Everything from the eyebrows down, it goes like wildfire. It's everything from the eyebrows up that has some struggles.
Yeah, the only reason I made that joke is because there was one of the books I read a long time ago in the Star Trek universe was in between season 2 and season 3 when Riker grew the beard. The author made the joke in there that Riker secretly wondered if Captain Picard was mad because he had more hair on his face than Picard had on his head. So that's always kind of been a joke that's kind of stuck with me. But anyway, so I have been out of the loop. I just looked at the dates. It's been like 6 weeks since we've done this show, and this is supposed to be weekly. So that tells you how out of the loop I've been. But in between my brother's passing and then coming down with some form of crud that nearly took me out, I'm afraid. But I'm back. So I got caught up today and got a few things I want to talk about. We are going to do the favorite child segment at the end. That's when you guys pick a favorite piece that you've written for the week. I don't have one of those. I know I keep saying that every time we do this show lately, but To be fair, I'm also writing a children's book and starting an outline on some fiction books too. So it's not that I'm not writing; I just haven't been writing articles.
I just hear excuses.
Hey, I resemble that remark. It's okay because when you talk, most of us hear wah 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 wah. So at least now you know.
What do you think I hear when I talk? Same exact thing.
Well, that until your Bostonian comes out, and then we're like, holy crap! Say park the car.
Yeah, you guys take that little fob, but that's all right.
A little five.
Yeah, you know who always tells them to say that? Retards.
All the time.
Speaking of retards, the story I want to talk about is Sharon Moore, not to be confused with Shamar Moore. The dude from Michigan making $6 million a year who cheated on his wife with his assistant, then broke into his assistant's house and threatened to kill himself in front of her. I'm like, dude, if I was making $6 million a year, y'all would never hear shit from me about nothing. Because if I'm making 7 figures a year, I'm never doing anything to screw that up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that had to do with he has to make himself the victim, right? Because he's made such a horrible choice in life that he has to show that he's mentally unstable. That way, the divorce will go easier on him. And let's face it, he was already. I think this was a strategized move because his reputation, career, and everything else was already ruined in public, right? So what other loss did he have other than putting himself in a situation where he looks like he needs help mentally, which clearly he does, but he's exacerbating it on purpose. So he pulls the big red handle so people start to feel sympathy for him.
I mean, the only thing I can keep thinking of is I think it's from Tropic Thunder, the scene where dudes like never go full retard. I cannot get that out of my head now. I'm like, dude, if I was making 7 figures, I would make sure I did nothing potentially to screw that up. At least not to the point where if I screwed up, it was something professionally, so I could at least, get a severance package and maybe move on to another school. But not, not so bad that you've now nuked your entire life. I mean, dude, if I were him, I hope they have his shoelaces.
Well,
But did you hear how this got broken?
No, actually, I just started paying attention to it today, and it was all over the news feeds when I first woke up. So,
Well, I've been, for my column, I've been covering a lot of the college stuff the last few days, especially with Notre Dame going through their take my ball and go home meltdown. So when this broke, I was already plugged in, so I'm listening to it. A DoorDash driver went to the authorities on campus because he delivered Plan B to Sharon Moore's office.
oh boy.
and apparently there's a former Michigan quarterback who's still tied into the community, who through his contacts had rumblings that it was going on. So as soon as either just before or as soon as the DoorDash story came out, he went to the social media somewhere and started saying it.
Yeah, and then Moore went into the offices area, and all of the coaches were having a meeting without him.
Yes, that's always a bad sign.
That's kind of a red alarm. Is that a good alarm?
Yeah, and there should be warning bells going off in your head at that point. But dude should have had warning bells going off in his head a long time ago. Because I mean, again, you're making mid 7. You're not even making low 7 figures a year. You're making mid 7 figures a year. If I could ever find a way to get the goose that laid the golden egg going on with this stuff, at that point, I would make sure that everything that I could ever possibly make sure was buttoned up, because I don't ever want to kill the goose that's laying the golden egg. But then again, I'd only need to make that once and I'd be fine anyway. So,
and the other thing too, and I get everybody panics in certain situations, and that's why he was on top of all the bad decisions he was making yet another bad decision. But time and history has shown us that in those situations, all you really have to do is disappear for a few years and come back and say, hey, I fixed myself. I was having a lot of troubles and now I am a better person. And 80% of the time, especially in the sports world, they bring you back. You look at how many sports figure eventually worked their way back after a couple of years after doing some pretty horrific things. So this was a forced fumble, if you will. Unforced fumble, I should say. He unforced it himself.
Well, I'm struck by the fact that he was too stupid to have Plan B delivered somewhere else. I mean, this is a guy whose job is game planning.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have the foresight to say, maybe getting the abortion pill sent to my office is not a good
Well,
idea.
and why wouldn't the gal just go drive an hour and a half away where nobody really knows who she was and walk in and get it? That's the part to me that makes zero sense. Like, I'm not condoning anything this guy's doing, but like you just brought up, his whole job is planning and strategy, right? Going with the strengths that you have, covering up for the weaknesses that you have. And he just goes and is like, oh yeah, DoorDash. I'm so busy. I'm going to DoorDash plan B is one of the most incredibly horrible things.
I mean, dude, if you're gonna DoorDash plan B, have the market leave it at the doorstep, send it to the girlfriend's house. Something.
There's a million different things that you could do. I mean,
not to mix metaphors, but this is definitely an unforced error. I'm just saying.
oh, no, it is.
Mhm.
It entirely is.
Yeah, this is spiking the football in your own end zone. I mean, it's that stupid of a move.
It's a butt fumble. This is a butt fumble.
Metaphor appropriate. There you go. And then this morning, I kind of lost it because Ryan Clark over at ESPN was starting to trend into the area of racism.
Oh, good God.
Like
Yeah.
our people and this and that. And it's like, dude, this is the last thing you want to do right now because this was an underling. This was a Me Too moment. Oh, by the way, she was white. Let's not bring race into this, Ryan, huh?
Well, it's one of those things too that I mean, everybody knows that cover has gone away completely, but it's not like somebody set him up in all of this somehow, right? How do you blame racism in this situation when he took his own pants off? It's not like he was drugged. Somebody took his pants off and then they took pictures and you're like, okay, well, that's weird. No. He actively pursued this gal, had a relationship with her, knocked her up, right? I mean, 2-point conversion, whatever you want to call it, and then tried to get it, overturned, so to speak. And he did it in the stupidest way possible.
He also doubled her salary to keep her quiet. Yeah. I mean, that's on paper as well. So I'm sorry. Did you put any kind of thought into what you're doing?
Amazingly, it does. He almost sounds like a 7-year-old kid that you catch in a lie, and he just keeps adding more and more ridiculous lies and activities to try to like sell it. When it's like, dude, we already have the plan B and etc.
Just amazing. I mean, it was such a fast meltdown too. I mean, this was like
overnight.
One of those like thermite grenades that you throw on a car and it burns through the engine block in 2 seconds. I mean, it was quick. It was like, he's gotten fired. He's in trouble. And within hours, he's putting a knife to his own neck and gets arrested at a church. It's like, can we slow down, please? I can't type this fast.
Can your meltdown please be on a more timely manner based on what I'm able to consume? You're doing way too much here, pal.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on there, but just seriously, I mean, look, I'm not going to say that I'm a saint and I've never done anything that I shouldn't have done. But again, if I had, so to speak, reached the promised land, I would definitely be doing everything I could to make sure that I got to stay there, not going, oh, let's just have an affair with somebody that I work with. That's a terrible plan anyway.
And when I saw the story, I said it had to be one of two things. Either this guy has been like so crystal clear and perfect his whole life that now he's like under such pressure, the valve finally broke and he did something stupid, or he's been doing stuff like this his entire adult life, and there should have been some rumblings about that at some point.
Well, I'm gonna lean on the former only because of the level of reaction from him. That it seems like to me this like completely once it started to break, he just blew up in an instant. It wasn't as if he was a cagey guy that's been pulling this off for years.
Yeah,
it was like
I think you're
his
right.
first time he dipped his toe in and it got this much trouble. I mean, the story moves so fast. Usually you'll have that period of time where you allow for deniability. Like, well, maybe let's hear her side. Maybe there's something else going on. He did 5 things beyond that in the same day. So you're like on step 1 and he's already off the cliff with nonsense and threats and everything else. I mean, before people were looking into the possibility of this being real, he was booked.
Yeah.
Just damn, son.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of incredible if you think about it.
It's just like I said, all of this is just totally insane to me. And then, and again, it's Michigan. I understand, Gretch's territory, everything else. But then for the prosecutor to stand up today and say, I think $25,000 bail is pretty fair because it'd be what I'd set for anybody else. And who's making 7 figures a year. And she admitted that he may or may not be a flight risk. I mean, I get it. She can't deny bail, but she could have set it high enough where it was hard for him to get out at least.
Well, and how is he not a flight risk? I mean, he's already look, and I get it. They're gonna, because it's a high profile case, they're gonna err on the side of caution with everything, right? Because if they hold him, then it brings a whole different set of eyes in. But let's be honest, this guy is absolutely a flight risk based on the fact that he was trying to off himself. And I mean, I that alone tells you that he's looking for a way out. Why would he not take off if he could? And he's got the means, he's got money, unless they're somehow the wife is freezing everything in divorce court right now. He's got the means and money.
Yeah, I don't. I wish I could say I understand, but I just do not. Because again, and like I said, personally, I felt like they stayed on that a bit too long today because after they had figured everything out, they were still, the court was still going for a minute. But I'm just sitting here and I'm listening to the prosecutor talking about all these things that she's concerned about. And then she's like, oh yeah, and $25,000 bond, please. I'm like, I kind of feel like the prosecutor's hoping maybe that he'll take care of himself while he's out. But again, like Brad, I'm not sure he ever was going to actually cross that point. I think for somebody that is, and again, I understand for at least one part of this, he was thinking with the wrong head. But now that he's not, I think this is more about that planning and strategy thing, like Brad brought up earlier. I think he's trying to set himself up as, I'm the victim here. I had some sort of a mental break. It's not really my fault, blah, 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 blah.
Well, the prosecutor could have said, too, hey, he's a flight risk because the team's playing in Orlando in a week.
Right.
And then, but the fact that he got fired probably queered that little argument.
I mean, I would hope so. But
like you said earlier, the fact that they fired him before it, and like, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people have had that like weird calendar pop up or appointment pop up in your calendar where you're meeting with your boss in HR with no explanation at 9:00 in the morning tomorrow. Where, right? They didn't even do that. Like they were having, he was already fired inside, and he's strolling in thinking like life is grand. And
when the boss asks you to close the door, you pretty much know what's scripted in front of you already. But I mean, we were still on the he said, she said aspect of the story, because usually that's when we're going to give him a paid leave and find out investigation. So we're like, well, let's get her opinion. No, he's already in her living room with a knife to his throat, and then he absconds to a church, and the cops are called, and he's booked.
So bizarre.
What the hell?
So bizarre. And like
this guy moved, he panicked in a hard way.
And I do think about that because when I got laid off back in August from my full-time, I realized a couple things, like HR randomly showed up into the office, which our HR worked off site. And then I kind of knew it was coming just because of the way business was. I'm not mad at them. I completely understand why they did it. But then I looked at my timesheet and they closed out my week, and it was like a Wednesday morning. All my vacation time was cashed out in my timesheet, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting laid off today." Like,
dun, dun, dun.
This guy didn't even get that. He's strolling in with coffee in his hands, thinking he's beat everybody. That
I mean, that DoorDash was the unending of a career. Just still cracks me up.
Can you imagine?
Man.
And what's funny is, you don't realize, like, we had the story out of, was it also Michigan or Wisconsin, where the gal tried to say that she was the DoorDasher on TikTok, and she was trying to say that the guy sexually assaulted her because he was asleep on his couch and his door was cracked open and he was naked. And he passed out after drinking and ordering DoorDash. This has been all over the news too. So the door is cracked, and instead of just leaving it on the front porch and leaving, and she's been charged with, I think they charged her with burglary and a couple other things, but She opened the door. Dude's passed out on his couch, pantsless. TV's on, right? And so she calls the police and says that he was clearly trying to sexually assault her, even though he's passed out drunk. And it's turned into this whole thing. And I'm like, how much has weird new tech jobs or whatever, Uber, DoorDash, all that stuff, all of a sudden created this whole new hierarchy of like reasons that crimes either are reported or committed, and how crazy it's become in this day and age.
Well, there's another one too recently where like apparently Uber has a child delivery service. So like if you have to have your kid go to school or something like that, first off, who would do that? Because
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't put my kid in a car. I live in South Florida. I can't pronounce the name of the people that pull up to my house any given time when I take it. Literally it looks like a typo. And I get in there like, oh, are you Brad? I'm like, yeah. Are you Acura white? I mean, that's about all I can go with. And people are putting their kids in a car. And then, one got assaulted somehow.
That you're safe to get in?
I mean, can we get a phonetical just parentheses, something like that, so I can, Jacques Schul or whatever the heck?
Yeah.
You have 2 X's in your name. I don't know what to do.
I'm going to call you Steve this entire ride, just so you know. And that's just because it's going to be less insulting if I call you Steve than it would be for me to actually try to pronounce your name properly. Like, I'm just going to.
I mean, just do what customer support out of India does. Oh, yes, my name is Todd. Sure it is.
I love Todd.
Ramsey, but I'm sorry, Todd. If you could fix my computer, please.
I do love the fact that I do love the names that you get out of that and how they try to force sounding American with it, and it makes it so much worse. Todd. Sorry.
I got wondered. For some reason, I've got some spam calls that always come in. It goes to voicemail, and I get the transcription from it all the time. And their accent is so horrible that, I mean, them trying to just pronounce my name is hysterical. It gets butchered so much.
TV. My name is Don. How are you today?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's incredible.
Like my transcription will be like, "How are you doing, bread shaper?" I'm just going to say wrong number. How about that?
Sorry, bread shaper.
It's like, I don't know what you need, but we're not having a conversation.
You should change your voicemail for a while, just as you catches it. Hi, I'm busy shaping bread right now. Call me back later.
Yes. Then they'll call back and they'll have my name correct. Oh, Mr. Slager. I was like, that'll throw me off.
That is just incredible.
Oh.
But then they had another one too. It was in San Francisco, one of the driverless cars taking a lady to the hospital, and she had a baby in the back seat.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't even ask for help because you got a robot driving you.
And I was just gonna say, you remember all those stories about like cab drivers and everything that like help deliver the baby, right? That used to be like major breaking news, front page news. We don't get that anymore.
Oh yeah, he would be a hero, and he'd be in the family Christmas card list for decades as a result. No, what are you gonna do? Send a card out to a Waze car now?
Send a car out to a Toyota?
I don't know. Maybe they should start including one of the Tesla robots in all the driverless cars, so that way, if there is something that needs medical,
but I had a news item 3-4 weeks ago on this very topic of us turning into robots and gig economy. They actually have now an offensive term for the robots. Clankers.
And that's from Star Wars. Star Wars? I think it's Star Wars.
Yeah, it was Star Wars. Yep.
But they literally, I think it was NBC News, said that this is an offensive term.
For whom? The robots don't give a fuck.
Who the hell are you offending? What? Huh? Well, yeah, people are calling it clankers, and this is a dismissive epithet.
They're trying to connect it to another word that kind of sounds like clankers that is sometimes used inappropriately to discuss people of African descent. They're trying to make that correlation that those two words are close together, so they must be the same thing. But I'm like, okay, so you just saying that black people are now on the same soulless level as robots? Because I would never make that connection myself, right? That's just
Well, I mean, this was one of the, like over in my media column, I keep having to add new categories. So I've got one now I just called Dose of Keyspurts because they always manage to come up with the most dumbest narrative, but they find two experts to back them up on it. So this one, they had somebody come on who's, I don't know, some linguistic quote expert and said that this is a term that they use for mechanical objects because these are people that are desperately wanting to use a racial term.
against a mechanical object. You can't even
Yeah,
do
so
that.
I can't use the
Mechanical
N
object.
word. I'm going to go with clankers now, and I feel better about my racist self, I guess.
A mechanical object does not have there's no race to a mechanical object. How do you even make that happen? How is that?
Because it's your desire to have a denigrating
No,
insult, and it's your problem, Sean.
It's-
You are the issue here.
well, look, you could point to just about any part of my life, and I am the issue. I understand that. But the simple reality is it goes back to this weird thing that we do as people where we try to like bring everything into our family and add emotions to things that shouldn't have emotions. I saw it, speaking of this, video not too long ago of like one of those robot delivery little guys that were like, you know how they have those like Uber has them with it's a robot that self navigates through sidewalks and stuff and delivers foods to houses. And it fell off the curb and fell over, and some woman went, "Aw." And I'm like, why are you saying, "Ah"? I'd be laughing my ass off if nothing else. And I'd fix it because if I was the fat guy on the other end, I'd want my food too, right? So I wouldn't even mind like fixing it to help that person who's receiving the food, but not for the clanker that's laying on the ground. Like,
Well, I would have that reaction because if my food was inside that robot, that's when I would say, "Oh,
yeah, yep, I can understand that too. But then you're making it human because it's about you, and that's okay.
my crab rangoon is ruined. You stupid ass clanker."
Oh, I picked the wrong day to get a soup Red Bull.
Oh boy, that would suck. That
Well, did you hear? Did you guys see what me and Orty? We talked about this 2-3 episodes ago. There's literally a commercial out right now for an AI app. Starts off with a woman in her kitchen. She's pregnant, talking on the phone to her mother.
Oh no. No, no.
"Oh, honey, yes, I remember when I was like that too. And if you just play some music and the infant, oh, okay, mom, that's a good idea." 10 years later, and there's little Timmy in the bedroom. "Hi, Grandma, I was at school today." "Oh, tell me about it, Timmy." And then he's 30 years old and he has a baby and he's showing the ultrasound to the same grandmother.
Oh,
This is an AI representation of their mother.
oh my God.
And for decades, this family is interacting with this thing. And then at the very end, they show the girls in the kitchen with her phone. "Okay, mom, now turn sideways. Now turn the other way. Now say a few things, mom. I'm going to read the script to my phone." They program their dead mother into the phone and keep interacting with her for decades.
Isn't that, I mean, didn't we learn from one of the Avengers movies why you shouldn't put a personality into something that's electronic? Like, didn't that, I'm pretty sure that's what Ultron was, right? And then it tried to take over the world. I don't know. Like, I would not want my father to be in a robot or anything like that. I love my father to death. I miss my father every single day. But to have a phone in the room with me where he's just constantly shitting on me because it's funny to him versus it actually, "Oh, thank you." Walk by and be like, "Well, you going to the fridge again, fatty?" Be like, "Come on, dad. Like, yeah, I'll let your battery uncharge. Like, I will absolutely let this happen. Don't push the old man."
That's the version I'd love to see in the commercial too. "Hey, Dad, how are you doing? You left your phone on last night, dumbass. Who was that dog you were sleeping with?"
Hey, as somebody who's old, fat, and broken, I would be completely fine with my brain being put into a robot.
"I'm doing great, son. How drunk were you when you took her home last night? Holy hell."
Hey, son, what prescription were those beer goggles? God dang.
Oh, he left
mean,
it in the
Jesus.
armrest of the truck. We all know what that means.
Next time you do that, turn the phone the other way because I didn't sleep last night. Damn it.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, Sean, back to your other question. I mean, look at everything that's been happening for like the last 2 or 3 years. everything that we have seen in poorly in sci-fi movies and books is now happening in real life, and they're just moving forward with it like it's no big deal. I mean, that's like, they genetically semi brought back dire wolves. Those things don't have any natural predators anymore. What the hell are you
I
thinking?
know. And, it goes, what's it, the original Jurassic Park, right? You were so busy asking if you could, you never asked if you should. Or that sort of mentality. And it's true, like, we do as a society get so caught into,
If we can do something,
and nobody stops enough to say, maybe this isn't the best idea we've ever had. I'm just throwing it out there just for fun.
And I know this wasn't a topic, but since we've kind of gone there, there's been something else that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Has anybody noticed how many medical advances now they're talking about, like every other day, now that AI has hit the mainstream?
Yeah.
I think they're using it a lot more than anybody wants to admit, because now I'm seeing stuff out of, like, I think it was China, and I saw something out of South Korea where they figured out that they can activate a gene that allows humans to grow a third set of teeth. There's actually test trials now where they've injected T cells that have been retasked to become pancreatic cells into somebody's bloodstream. So they are actually now their diabetic is actually naturally producing insulin again.
That's
And
cool.
well, I mean, it is to a point, but when we start literally playing God, I mean, there are going to be probably some unintended consequences. Kind of like with everything we're finding out about these mRNA vaccines, we're like, oh, it's just this one simple strand and it has one task, and now they're figuring out it never actually shut off.
But this is going to be where, I might throw on the tinfoil hat, because they have that, prevailing theory bubbling up in some areas that the reason they don't want a cure for cancer is because the money flow would cut off.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of it with all the stuff.
Well, if AI is coming up with solutions, it's not money driven. That is almost supporting that theory now.
Right.
It's like they're not cashing checks; they're a fake mind. But
yeah, and like I said, at least in the diabetes study that you referenced, they're doing trials. They're actually taking their time. They're doing it like there is a scientific procedure in which I can understand and be okay with. When we're talking about like the COVID vaccine, where it was just slapped together and thrown together from a whole bunch of other parts and then jammed down everybody's arm, literally. And now we're finding out all of the issues that people are having as a result of it. That's the problem. If they do regular trials and testing and FDA and it, my diabetes has attacked so many people in my family, and type 1, not like type 2 that I'm probably going to get soon. No, actual type 1 that's hereditary. And, I have 2 nephews and a niece that are 30 and under that have been dealing with it for years now. And if that gave a chance to young people like that to live a normal life and not have to entirely police their whole existence, then I'm okay with it, as long as it is researched properly and trialed properly. There's no 100% guarantee right answer, and there never will be. There's always going to be some people who just can't utilize it, or their body rejects it or whatever. So I am for science when it's done actually scientifically.
Well, just like I said, it just astounds me that, after so many years of, like, now they're finding out there is technically starting to be cures for cancers. They have figured out how to basically teach healthy cells to eat and destroy the cancer cells.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, this is something. All of this stuff is like science fiction. I was talking about this a while ago. There's a show on CBS that I've been watching, that's Watson, which is from the Sherlock Holmes universe. And one of the episodes that completely floored me was when they're talking about using CRISPR technology to delete the sickle cell gene from a patient. And they actually did it in the show. And I'm like, dude, CRISPR is now being talked about in pop culture. That is crazy.
Did you say the tickle cell?
Sickle.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why we were so focused on tickle when there was so many other issues that we dealt with.
After they found out the original Elmo was a child molester, they kind of wanted to get rid of the tickle gene.
Well, you kind of expose yourself here, Rick, because they've been talking about CRISPR in culture for some time. You obviously have never seen the movie Rampage.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I don't think I was well versed enough on CRISPR to realize that that's what they were referencing at the time. But
Well, it was in the title card at the beginning. Come on, that's how the
whatever.
animals were created. And
Hey, you do the movie podcast. You stay in your lane.
but I don't know that China is doing all of the important work here either, because we talked about on me and Aggie a few weeks ago. They had a robot that was on a grid and it was being driven by an artificial brain, not an AI brain, a biological brain that they grew in a lab.
Oh,
with
boy.
stem cells. So they created a brain, and then they have the brain operating a robot.
Nice.
Well,
Stop it.
eh.
Okay, we've seen these movies. They've been out for decades, you dumbasses. Let Skynet into your movie theaters and learn a lesson, Chi-Coms.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We've seen all this stuff with the genetic manipulation, the artificial intelligence, the robots, all of it. And I'm like, we are just moving full speed ahead into all this anyway. And I mean, and again, I am a technology nut. I used to be one of those people that always tried to keep up with all the new technologies and everything else. I can't do it anymore because it's getting too damn expensive. But I used to love that shit. Now I'm just like, I mean, like for the longest time, I didn't even have an Alexa in my house. And my ex-wife always swore that we'd never get one. And then the second she moved out, she bought one for my daughter for Christmas. You bitch.
I understand.
Yeah, those things are a little too invasive, a little too creepy. And yeah. I've been to people's house that had them, and we were having conversations, and then all of a sudden their phone is lighting up with ads with conversation points in it.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
learning anything here?
I'm a tech geek, and one of the things that I've accepted long before they ever came out with the Google Home or the Alexa type things is once you have your phone in the pocket, they're all listening to you anyhow. I mean,
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
something that Amish pointed out. He's like, you really should stop freaking out about the Alexa because you already have a listening device in your pocket. And I'm like, damn it.
I laugh when people freak out about all these. They're like, oh, they can track you everywhere on the internet, on your computer if you don't blah, blah. I'm like, dude, you're doing all that blocking on your computer and your phone's sitting right next to you. Guess what? They know everything about you already. Like once you have anything beyond a wall phone, you're done now.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I do want to point this out for anybody who has never experienced this for yourselves. Just take your phone into like a bathroom or something and talk about some random topic. Give it about 5 minutes and start opening up your browsers and Facebook and everything else. I promise you will see ads about exactly what you were talking about.
Yep.
It happens to me all the time.
Well, see, I'm a little lucky in that way because when I got my last phone, I opened it up in another state. So everything that I get is advertisements for like Kentucky or something because I was on the road at the time. So they think I'm living out there. And it's like, cool, just keep up at it.
It's done by geocaching essentially. They know where you actually are though, because I use a VPN, which I encourage everybody to do. But I use a VPN and I do get ads from where my VPN is based and not where I'm based, which is a huge help. But yeah, it's really funny because every once in a while I'll get like a restaurant ad or something and like some far away, other side of the country. I'm like, I kind of really want to go try that place. And I know the odds of me ever getting over there will never happen.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'll say I want to go to Total Wine. It's like, do you want the Lexington, Kentucky location? I'd love to, except I'm not there. So
can I get there and back today by chance? Like, yeah.
And then I get those like random coupons in my spam box for like, Roto Rooter or something like that out there. Like, I don't know why, but keep doing it. Great.
All right. So one of the other stories I definitely wanted to get into. Well, first of all, kind of an aside, I thought this was interesting after being unplugged for about 6 weeks. Tried to plug back in a couple of times, done a couple of shows here and there, but really haven't been paying that much attention. I love how now that that everything's been passed that they can release all the Epstein stuff. Almost nobody's talking about the Epstein stuff anymore. And then when they try, the left always keeps trying and it just keeps blowing up in their face. I saw another story about that today where they tried to release some other supposed photo from the Epstein files with Trump and they're like, womp womp.
Yeah, it's it's funny because What's the old saying? Careful what you wish for, right?
Yeah, because you might actually get it. Yeah, I'm kind of living proof that that's not always a good thing.
Right.
There's man.
Yeah, I mean the Epstein thing died pretty quickly because I think there was 3 different Democrats that became implicated in some capacity. Like CNN has been on a tear of late as just the Democrat rehabilitation tour stop. So I mean Jasmine Crockett, Stephanie Plaskett, Hakeem Jeffries has been on there, and then all of them is like, explain your connection to Jeff. Well, he was just a constituent, and he was reaching out to me with, honey, you're a Virgin Islands rep, Epstein Island, ergo, that's
Yeah.
how he's your constituency.
Like, hello, are you just not
And
paying attention?
So she had to clean up, and then it's just been on, and that whole thing just died instantly. It's like, thank God. Oh, they're killing boats in Venezuela. Thank God. We can move on from it.
That was another one that drove me nuts. That was one of the times I tried to come up for air and start spinning back up again before I got sick. And I'm watching the story about Hexeth talking about, well, yeah, we had to go back and shoot it again because there were people still trying to do what we were trying to stop them from doing.
Exactly.
Dude, I mean, and again, look, this is kind of a gray area for me, and I don't really know how I feel about it, but I will say this. If you didn't say a word about Barack Obama drone striking a wedding full of people, you probably shouldn't be talking about Venezuelan boats.
Well, and I don't understand when we've got to the point where we know everything that the government can and can't do under the orders that are in place, especially when it comes to terrorism. But beyond that, we have such a fentanyl crisis in this country. We have such an issue with it in this country. People are so they're so blind to what drugs and fentanyl are doing into the streets that they don't care. Like this goes back so much to the Orange Man bad being more important than what the actual work of the people that needs to be done. And I don't even know what to say anymore to these people because it's just insane.
Well, they've been doing it all year. If Trump promotes it, it's automatically wrong. So they're against cutting government waste. Yeah. They're against lowering inflation. They're against going after crime in our cities because Trump promoted it. And this drone strike cracks me up too because they're all worried about the second strike. Oh my God, they hit him twice with a double tap. You weren't bothered with the first one?
Did y'all never watch Zombieland?
The mission was to kill him. They hit him with we missed. We have to go back and do it again. They're mad about that. But and the Obama program was he would hit them and the double tap would take place when first responders were on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm sorry, that sounds like a war crime to me.
Well,
hitting your initial target a second time is kind of what the mission was all about.
Right.
We're hitting the bad guy. We're not hitting the rescuers and the locals.
Well, yeah, and like you said, it's a bad guy. We know who this guy is, right? I mean, we know what he was up to. He didn't have flour on board. I mean, that's
excuse me, Sean. He's a fisherman with quad Evinrude outboards cutting 45 knots in the open sea. I think what are you trolling for? Submarines?
Could you imagine if they actually tried to fish with nets going that fast? Oh my God.
Your bait would be bouncing on the surface and the fish would not even, they'd scatter when they hear you. So,
I do have to think about the legitimate fishermen in the area who are like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to go out there. Just on the off chance.
I live in South Florida. We go offshore fishing. I'm familiar with the gear. Usually poles, rods, netting is involved in that sport, not cruising at 50 knots with barrels tucked under the seat. Just saying. Voice of experience.
Yeah, no. I tell you, it's crazy to me how many people, and look, it's like the illegals in this country who are committing crimes against Americans that the Democrats would rather protect, and they find that to be more important. And it goes back to Orange Man bad, right? Anything that this administration does. They just immediately are contrarian to it for politics. And it shows that they have absolutely no depth of thought or mind. Like, imagine how well some Democrats in purple areas could do right now to be like, no, I think this is a great idea. Like, we have to stop the drugs. We have to stop. We have to stop this. Like the line needs MS-13, Trinidad Aragua, FARC, all of them are in bed with the Venezuelan government on some level or another. All this drug money goes through all of them. They're all getting kickbacks and payoffs, yada, yada, yada. We need to send a message. And I am more worried about the people that live here. Oh, they would be absolutely, their poll numbers would shoot up by 20 points next week.
Well, just the argument itself cracks me up because we're talking about these being starving fishermen that just want to feed their family. All right, how about this? Maybe don't drop 30,000 engines,
dude.
Actually catch fish.
I laugh that if you see, I love the what's it, the Haulover in Florida there, the Haulover channel or whatever it is that goes out to the ocean. It's
the inlet.
That's it. And they always have like these massive waves, and because of just the way the water works. I love it how many $1 million 4 engine outboards come tearing ass through there. I'm like, that's the same boats that are being used in Venezuela to run drugs.
Oh yeah, I mean we're quite familiar with what drug boats look like down here, and those look like drug boats. I'm sorry, Corvette style, shallow draft. And they have 3 or 4 huge outboards on the back, Merc 250s or whatever. And they're just pinned. They're going 45 miles an hour when they're being tracked, not fishing speed. If you're trolling, you're not going 45 miles an hour, or you're going to be pulling up just hooks with chunks in it. Like, I mean, the fastest you ever go trolling is you want to catch mako or wahoo and you got to run birds and you're at maybe a third throttle just to pull the bait down low enough because they're fast fish. But no, you're not pinning the throttle into the green and skimming across the surface like this.
All an ass.
Just damn ridiculous. But we're supposed to believe this, I guess. Poor fishermen.
Poor fishermen. They'll never get their credit that they deserve. Hey, I have a story I'd like to bring up.
Sure.
And this is absolutely, I would say, the biggest political faux pas of this week, which has a lot to say. Now, I'm going to play the video if so allowed, and then we will discuss it from
there. Hang on, let me check. Okay, I was going to say let me check settings, but it looks like it's going to work. So hang on. Oh, yeah, I was going to bring this one up in a minute, so I'm glad you got it.
NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question? It was an unfortunate situation.
You're going to ask it or ask it?
Unfortunate. No, it wasn't. An unfortunate situation is when you're walking down the street in a flip-flop and you blow out your flip-flop. That's an unfortunate situation. When you drop your newly made sandwich going to the living room, that's an unfortunate situation. Having a tire blow on the side of the road is an unfortunate situation. A terrorist attack on 2 uniformed National Guardsmen is, in fact, a fucking terrorist attack. Pardon my language.
I mean, you left a piece of low-hanging fruit off, sir. You should have mentioned a clanker falling over with your lunch.
That's a good point. I should have said that.
But no, I mean, so yeah, I saw that the other day too, and I'm like, an unfortunate, and even like, well, first of all, he said unfortunate accident, and I think that's more, his hooked on Ebonics done fucked him up. Because I don't think that was the word he meant to use, and I think that's why he got kind of outraged at first and then he replayed the mental tape and he was like, "Oh, I meant unfortunate situation." So let's no.
It's still not an unfortunate situation. That still is not the language, and this is the problem when you have these liberals who are trying to do anything but actually call stuff what it is. Right? That's not an unfortunate situation. An unfortunate situation would be I don't even know, a carbon monoxide leak in a house and people perish. That's an unfortunate situation. This is not that.
Oh, so hang
Well,
on.
if you wanted to expose them, all you had to drop a line on them and say, when Martin Luther King had his unfortunate situation, they would explode all over you. Racist ass.
Oh, that would have been epic.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been epic. I would have loved to have seen that, Tulsi coming back saying, so
But it was in the same exchange. Right after that, he asked her another question, and Christy Noem's answering, and he keeps interrupting her like he's Abby Phillip, and he's like, "No, but." She's like, she just keeps flying on, and he turns and says, "I'm going to reclaim my time." What? She's answering your question.
Yeah, but she's not answering it the way that he wants her to, so it's different.
her
He was just
answer's
telling
hurting me. Make you stop.
It blows me away. How often, and Hank Johnson's another one. How often you have
I was going to bring him up today too.
Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous. So many, and you go with AOC and even what's her name, Goodlander out of New Hampshire. There's so many of them that are so focused on their gotcha moment that when they start to ask the question and then the person on the other side of the table gives an intelligent answer that contradicts what they're trying to say, then they just spiral. They just spin.
Mhm.
And it's the funniest thing in the world to me because it's like, how did you not have something else in the chamber ready to go for that? You knew that was coming. You knew that
Well,
was
that's like-
coming.
That's like the one time I think it was it was either Maxine Waters or the other one that I always confuse her with, who basically got put on the spot. She asked a question, the person started answering it, and all she kept saying over and over and over, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time. It reminded me of a time when my brother was a kid and I was playing Uno with some of the adults and he kept wanting to come in and play and my mom kept telling him no. So every time she said no, he would say, yeah, but, and then storm off and go back to his room. So like the third or fourth time he comes back in and he asks one more time and she's like, no. And then he's just standing there for like 5 minutes stuck. Yeah, but. That's exactly what that reminded me of because she's just sitting there for like 5 minutes, reclaiming my time. I'm like, dude, you asked a question. Let them answer.
Well, the media does the same thing,
Yeah.
though. They have that set narrative and they don't deviate because they don't even think about anybody having a differing opinion or differing set of facts. Like Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation. I've lost count of how many times she's had Republicans on and they just dismantle her. And I keep like successive columns in a week I did where I just said she's been taken to school so much she's got her master's now from these guys because they just run her over with facts.
She has her master's, but like many college educated youth we have these days, you have the degree but no intelligence to go along with it, right? She has yet to learn how. You think they would send her to a school for it? Like, hey, look, clearly you're not getting it, so we're gonna have this tutor come in and teach you how to have maybe secondary or third options to go to other than what you just keep trying to say.
I'd probably
just amusing because they come at them and you're like, how do you explain this? It's like, well, it happened this way, and this way. And then they come up with another question that's accusatory. It's like, well, the problem is that was debunked a week ago. It's amazing.
That's why I was saying if it were me, I would probably flip the visual on that. She keeps trying to take them to school and they keep putting her in the corner with the dunce cap.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she's obviously not really learning anything because they keep trying the same stuff. That's like I think it was Al Green who recently just tried to do articles of impeachment and half his own party voted present.
Yeah.
You know something's bad when in this day and age in Congress you can't even get your own party to jump on board.
That's like one of those responses like, I'm busy that weekend. What's the date?
Hey, I want to try to impeach Trump again. Sorry, I'm washing my hair.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm not going to be in town. Could you maybe do it another weekend? Well, once you do it on February 31st, that's probably a good time to do it.
Well, I mean, and when even the House Minority Leader votes president, that's when you know. That's when you know your party's not with you anymore, sir. You should probably just pack it up and go home. But one other quick thing I wanted to talk about, because I didn't realize it, but we're almost out of time already. We've got about 7 minutes left, unless you guys want to do a little bit of overtime. Is kind of in the same vein. now we're watching now ever since New York City election, there's even more infighting with the Democratic Party, because now you've got the emboldened communists who are coming out of the woodwork and starting to try to primary people. And I'm going to say this again. And if anybody's listening in New York City, if you're about to be offended by what I say, I don't apologize. I'm just going to be honest with you. Not voting is also a vote. So if you don't want commies in your government, go vote for the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple. Because at this point, I'm all for letting people get what they vote for, because it's the only way we're ever going to get this stuff fixed. Because we have spent almost the entire time I have been in politics, we have spent all this time and energy trying to protect people from themselves, thinking that eventually they would get it. They don't. It's kind of to me, it's kind of like parenting. There comes a point when your children get old enough that you have to start letting them make their own mistakes and either fall down or figure out how to get up on their own. And we don't do that in our government anymore. We have become such a nanny state in both parties that it astounds me. I mean, because even what the Republicans have, that well, we can't really do that because then no. Let them figure out what they're doing and how it's not going to work, or how maybe it even will work. Who knows? New York City may become a utopia now. And if it does, great. I will admit that I'm wrong. It ain't going to happen. But if it did by some miracle happen and suddenly unicorns were farting fairy dust, then I would come out and say, hey, I was wrong about communism this entire time. But I'm not.
I will 100% be happy to say that I would take the odds that it's not going to turn into a utopia. Look, the biggest thing, and you hit the nail on the head, but I don't think you've taken it further enough. It's almost like an addict that has to absolutely hit rock bottom before they finally turn around and say, all right, I need to make new choices. And that's where the entire progressive left is. You see a couple of them trying to bump back a little bit, and a couple of them every once in a while will do something that they intentionally do in order to say, look, see, I'm not a complete progressive leftist, but they're still tapping that vein, man, with that progressive leftivism. And until they bottom out, New York City has to bottom out.
It's going to happen faster than you think. I love the fact that Mom Donnie's almost walked back everything that he got
100%. And
he's like, oh, not really going to be able to do that after all, but thanks for your vote. Oh, and remember when I said stop sending us money? I didn't mean that either. Start sending us money.
Everybody talks about, and I understand why. It's like, well, how could they vote like this, in the city where 9/11 happened? But I'll take it even further, is how can you vote like this when you saw what Times Square in New York City was before Giuliani was there? Everybody knows what it was like. Everybody knows Hell's Kitchen was a demilitarized zone. Everyone knows Times Square. People have this unbelievable mental block. Times Square used to be filled with nothing but strip joints and hookers and drug dealers. That's all Times Square was. I was there when it was like that. I remember it. It was disgusting.
You were one of the customers when it was like that. What the hell? I
was technically too young.
Well, that's called empirical wisdom.
But it's, and to go beyond that, and just even what he's doing. Look, he just hired the public safety guy that was a convicted armed robber as his public safety liaison, right? Is that the message you're going to send when you're already in a place where all your cops are talking about leaving? And then you're like, oh yeah, part of my transition team is going to be this convicted felon who's not really a big fan of cops. So good luck with that. It's just, New York is just,
it's not even it's not even New York. It's like the entire East Coast is slowly losing its mind. Like, I just saw a story out of Philly today where the new drug on the streets that makes Trank look like it's a freaking vitamin. People are shooting up with it, and they're like zoning out mid-step and frozen. It's literally creating zombies.
That's been going on for years, though. I can remember working the project in Boston when black tar heroin really first started to hit the streets. That was happening all the time. You could spot him. You'd be walking up the street and there's just a guy literally passed out standing up. And the problem is, I think our biology adapts to certain things, and it's like, okay, well, generationally, we have to be able to fight the effects of this on some level. And so they have to keep coming up with the new and exciting ways to try to kill themselves. And it's
well, I'm just going to say you guys are a bunch of pikers, because here in South Florida, we're the bath salts center where people are eating faces off as a result. So
I do remember.
Good luck catching up.
Dude, I remember when those stories first broke. I was like, holy shit, it's like The Walking dead for real.
But I'm with you. I'm on board as far as, letting New York suffer some of the consequences. But what always ends up happening, to go back to your adult analogy, we end up having to bail out their fuck ups.
Well, that's just
Look at
Don't do it
California.
anymore.
Yeah.
Don't do it anymore. Let them
Yeah,
implode.
But the problem you have to understand,
cut that off.
and one of the reasons that we get into this conversation so much is you don't know who's going to be in office next. We'd like to think we know, but based on what conservatives are doing right now for turnout and excitement and all this other stuff, anything's possible right now. I feel like there's not nearly enough being done there, but that's a different topic. So it's all well and good now. And you know what? I don't know if Trump would let them suffer, but let's say he did. And let's say whoever's in next, JD Vance is like, nope, we're not bailing them out because they made these choices. Well, then JD Vance goes away, and the way the cycle works, you're probably going to get a Democrat back in. And now they're so far gone, it's going to cost that much more to bring them back. And they're going to do it no matter how misguided it is.
I don't really know a solution. I mean, I said this with Amish, one of the last times we did Rick and Morty, which God, I can't even remember when that was at this point. Or at this point, I'm fine with doing two things: legalize everything and take all the warning labels off and let Darwin sort it out, because we have been letting the retards loose for too long.
The problem is, and I understand what you're saying, but the problem with that theory is they're going to need money to buy all that stuff, and that's going to lead to them robbing, looting, and stealing. So it's not going to get better, and you're talking generations before they finally, look, we're only burning witches at the stake. What, 400 years ago, 500 years ago? Like we don't advance as quickly as people like to think we do just because we have new technology. The human being itself does not advance that well.
Well, all I'm going to say about that is with everything as screwed up as it is, and I don't care which party you want to look at, because each of them has had a hand in it. It's going to take generations to fix this mess anyway. So what we've got to do is start actually paying attention, getting people to tune in and turn on instead of tuning out, turning off, and dropping out. And I don't know how to do that anymore, because the thing that drives me nuts is you can have two people with opposing viewpoints looking at the same stuff on the TV screen, and they will have completely different narratives as to what they're watching. That's like all the people that were, I think it was when Noam was in there the other day. I think it was Noam, was testifying about all the stuff with ICE and everything else, and then they had the Angel families on there with her and all this other stuff, and then in the interior, or whatever the hell you call it, there was like a bunch of people screaming and yelling about how she's part of the new SS and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I'm like, dude, are you guys do you just hate people that much that you're not actually paying attention to what it is that we're trying to do? Or are you just brainwased? Because that's the part that I don't know how we fix that part without tough love. I mean, it's going to take some tough love to fix this. There's just no way around it anymore.
It blows my mind, the amount of brainwashing. And look, I don't know why any of us are shocked about this, right? We've all covered this in one form or another over years since it really started happening. But it goes back to the lack of critical thinking skills, and it goes back to lack of self-awareness, and it goes back to everyone being told they're right all the time, that they get a trophy all the time, and they need to act out on their emotions more than to actually try to control them. And you're seeing that third generation of the everybody wins. Like, this is the kids of the kids who started that, who you're starting to see in this day and age. And I said this not too long ago to somebody, and they kind of laughed, and then I think they had that shocking moment. It gives you insight as to how people like Hitler come into power, right? Because all you have to do is to make people just be emotional, and you're going to win. And you can either use that for good, or you can use that for evil. And unfortunately, the left has the corner market on using it to try to destroy this country. It goes all the way back to even before Obama, right? Look at how they attacked the Tea Party. You look at how they attacked the founders. You look at how they attack SCOTUS and all this other ones, right? They tell you straight out to be emotional and to destroy this country, and they never say what they're going to replace it with. That's the funniest thing. Like, They talk about all this stuff. Oh, we're going to pack the courts. Well, what's the next step after that? Like, why do you need the courts packed? What are you trying to do? Nobody ever asked that question. And that's what we're seeing now is this just emotional vomiting. People don't know how to control themselves. And then you go to a place like Congress to confront, and I don't care if you're there to protest peacefully, whatever, and you see a member of the cabinet and you're just like, and you have zero self-control whatsoever. And you might as well piss your pants and fall on the floor when you see these people, because that's just the physical embodiment of your emotional actions at that point.
All right. So
I got an example of that very thing.
Go ahead.
Because in the media, it's so much of it is emotion driven and lack of critical thinking. And the whole Olivia Nuzzi thing that has come out in the last couple of months, which is utterly freaking hilarious. But my entire point has been, how is she always becoming elevated when she displays the most base ethical violations in journalism? I mean, she's sleeping with her contacts on a regular basis, and she just ascends up the ladder. Well, her book has come out, and this is how oblivious she is. She, in one passage, showed how stunted her thinking is and doesn't even realize it. So she's relaying this one time where she was working at the New Yorker, I believe, and said, "Oh, I want to get out and I want to do something. I want to go see the World Wrestling Hall of Fame, World Wrestling Federation Hall of Fame." So she calls the headquarters up and asks where it's located. And the lady on the phone says, "Well, there isn't one." She's like, "What do you mean there isn't one? I want to go see the Hall of Fame." "Well, there's not an actual building." She's like, "I don't understand. Do you have a Hall of Fame?" "Well, yes, we do. But where is it?" "It's not a building. It's an idea." "What do you mean it's an idea? Where can I go to see this?" She's like, "No, there's no hall." Like, the lady says this 4 or 5 times. Olivia Nuzzi is incapable of grasping this, and she's writing in her book her inability to grasp that. And this is one of the most exalted journalists in the last 10 years.
And then people,
I was like, how does she's in held investigations and interviews with, high flying politicians, and she's New York Times and everywhere else, and she's dumb as a rock. She's so dumb she doesn't understand how dumb she is, and she puts it in her book. It's astounding to me.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, though, in some ways. Like, there's a lot wrong with it, but the trade-off to that is the comedy is not. I mean,
the material. Thank you, Olivia. I've had weeks of this. It's like fantastic.
You should actually send a little thank you basket to her office and explain exactly why.
Yes. I'll meet you in the food court at the Hall of Fame.
No, just to see if she actually writes about it. She's like, "Oh my goodness, thank goodness I was really stupid and I put it in my book, because it got me a free, basket. It had fruit in it. It had,
She probably thinks that was an expose. Yeah. I prove that there's not an actual Hall of Fame.
Nice.
It had coloring books and crayons, and it was lovely.
So did you guys hear about I think it was a story from the Post where they're walking people through how to leave the United States?
No.
Hang on, I got a short clip about it.
But I'm here for it. As awful as that might sound.
I'm okay with it.
Where can I subscribe?
Right? But hang on, let me get this pulled up.
Booker just ran a piece this week called How to Leave the USA, focusing on an organization called GTFO, which helps terrified liberals flee Trump's America. And one of the places they're helping people move to, the Netherlands, a place whiter than Brett Baer's teeth. A place so white it makes Dana Perino look like Jasmine Crockett. A place so white it makes Sweden look like the birthplace of hip hop.
All right, it's a longer clip, but I'm not going to run that part of it. But yeah, I saw that today. I was like, oh my God, they're literally there's a group called Get the Fuck Out Tours, a GTFO, and they are seriously trying to walk people through how they can leave the United States should they choose to do so.
Do you guys want me to prove to you that I am not a hyper liberal?
I mean, I don't know how you would do that, but sure.
I'm 100% Dutch, and I thought that was a hilarious clip. I was not offended. I'm not writing letters to Greg Gutfeld, and I'm not demanding Fox News take him off the air.
Nice. Well played, sir. Well played. Are you sure you're 100% Dutch though? That's almost impossible anymore.
Well, I did one of those, 23andMe deals or something like that. I'm like 98% and 2% more. So one of my ancestors was sleeping with the help, apparently.
Oh, and speaking of Jasmine Crockett, since that got brought up, one of the last things I wanted to hit on today is I was completely lambasted yesterday when I poked my head back up after such a long absence when Aggie pointed out that Crockett is trying for a Senate seat in Texas. That should be fun. That should be fun.
It is.
Oh yeah, we covered this on Tuesday.
It is
one of her platforms, gun control.
Yeah, the only gun control
in Texas.
Can you hit your target?
In Texas, gun control.
Well, I mean, it's. I mean, at least this time it's a homegrown idiot instead of them trying to run Beto. Because good God.
I got to say though, I actually had a laugh out loud moment on Twitter yesterday. There was some post that was absolutely insane, batshit nuts, and somebody said, "Wow, this is the dumbest thing I've heard today." And Jasmine Crockett gave a speech.
Did you?
Ooh,
I
that's
played it on my show Monday night. Did you, by any chance, see her opening act on her announcing her run, her launch event?
Not.
Oh, her campaign
Yeah,
video.
no,
The dude that was rapping, but he was lip sync rapping,
Oh, God.
and on top of it all, he was off with it, and the sound of the the backtrack was actually a little bit louder than he was. It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen. I mean, the fact that when she said, "I think I'm going to run for Senate," nobody on her staff yelled "iceberg" right ahead, like, is blowing my mind because look. Anything.
Well, did you see her video? Her introduction
Yes.
video? It's her doing this. And in the background, it's just Trump insulting her repeatedly.
But it goes back to Orange Man Bad, right? It has nothing to do with what substance she brings to the table. It's just the fact that Trump doesn't like her and Orange Man Bad. That's her whole campaign. That was Kamala's whole campaign. It's all about
her entire all this week. All she said is, "I'm Jasmine Crockett." It's like, do you have a platform?
I'm
not him.
Well,
Okay, but what are you going to run
This
for?
one goes
Me?
up to 11. Well, why wouldn't you just have it go up to 10? Well, this one goes up to 11. That's literally her whole campaign.
Like somebody finally sat her down and they're like, "Do you realize your campaign commercial was Donald Trump saying how bad of a politician you are?" And she's completely hauled it down. It's disappeared now.
Congratulations. You just gave a great campaign for Donald Trump.
So here's the thing, right? So that's her opening bid is her watching while Trump is insulting her, thinking that was going to resonate with voters. But so she pulls that down when she realizes it wasn't working. Then she doubles down. Did you see her I think it was either yesterday or the day before, challenging anybody to prove that Democrats have been calling for violence?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she got flooded.
She's just the fact that it shows you who is even behind the scenes, because like him or not, but the days of Carville and other highly intelligent political operatives would say, no, don't talk about this. You need to talk about this. There's nobody, either she won't listen to them, which we saw with Kamala. That was Kamala's downfall, as she thought she was smarter than everyone else legitimately, or they're just as fucking stupid as she is, which is even more impressive.
And not to change tax real quick, but we are running out of time. There's one other thing that I definitely want to talk about that I forgot to put in my notes. And that is this whole, and because you brought up Carville, the whole, he's the one that put "it's the economy, stupid" in our lexicon. That was his whole thing. But watching all these people that are still freaking out because prices are supposedly so high with everything else that's going on, and then watching the news break about 3 weeks ago, when Trump said, "Hey, we're adjusting our tariff policies," and he's like, "Oh," and all the left's like, "See, this is proof that tariffs don't work." I was like, no, it's proof that he's not a fucking moron.
And it's also proof that tariffs do work on some level. That's the other side of it, is it actually it got the other side to go where he wanted them to go, and once that pressure was applied and they saw what it could be, he backed off.
Well, and
Yeah, I've been trying to explain this to people too that bitch about it. Like, okay, do you realize the tariffs were arbitrarily applied, therefore they can be arbitrarily taken back? See how it works now? It's like saying a parent is raising their hand to their child and then they start to behave. Oh, corporal punishment doesn't work.
yeah, trust me, it does.
They shut up, didn't they?
I mean,
Didn't they?
I grew up in the world of I brought you into this world, I can take you out. Trust me, when your parent starts trying to follow through with that, you straighten up real quick. Just saying. But no, it's just astounding to me because it's like and again, this goes back to no matter what Trump does, it's bad. When he was using tariffs, it was bad. When he's starting to pull back from the tariffs because he's gotten what he wanted out of it. See, this just proves they never really worked in the first place. No, it actually proves the exact opposite. But that's one of the things that drives me the most crazy about everybody who's still screaming and yelling about the economy. Nobody talks about that in 2022, the national gas price average was $4.68 a gallon. Look at where it is now. I mean, even diesel's dropped by $1.60.
Oh, some of us are talking about it. I just wrote an article on it on SHR Media.
Well, yeah, I mean,
well, this is how stupid they get. I covered this with CNN early this year. I think it was like March. They said that tariffs were going to spike car prices to unimaginable levels. 6 weeks later, car prices have yet to rise due to tariffs. This is a bad sign for the economy.
Bad sign for the economy.
The exact same writer said both.
I love how they will pin anything like that's a money saving to a bad side of the. This is such a bad. Why? Because things are cheaper. Yeah, that tells you that the economy is about to crash.
I mean, shit, I remember in 2023 and 2024, I was paying almost $4 a gallon for fucking generic milk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Eggs. Look at eggs.
Back when we were told that inflation was good for the economy.
Inflation's a positive.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It means we're stable.
Yeah.
It means our economy's stable when you're paying $48 for a dozen eggs. That's always a stable economy.
I mean, I'll be honest about that though. Both parties have cooked the inflation numbers to the point where we don't even know what actual inflation is anymore. But when you're using the cook numbers and you're still showing 9%, something's wrong.
Yeah. When you're showing cooked numbers and it's worse than what you're trying to say, but you're still showing those numbers, that's a little bit. I call that a red flag.
But yeah,
I'm not an economist, but I do know how to bullshit somebody, and that's not the best way to do it, in my opinion.
And nobody talks about the fact that he hasn't even been in office a year yet. Gas is down by almost $2 a gallon. Egg prices are down, depending on where you look, anywhere from $3 to $5 a dozen. You know, diesel's even down. That's the other thing that even in Oklahoma, I hear people complaining about it all the time because one of our senators put out a post today and K4 picked it up. And then, well, what are we going to do about diesel prices? So I looked it up. The average for diesel in 2022 was over $5 a gallon. It's now below $4. So you're talking about a drop of over $1 per gallon in less than 12 months. And I mean, eventually these cost savings are going to start showing up for people. One of the reasons why beef prices have been so bad is because we don't have any.
Right.
That's why when everybody's, I don't want Trump to import beef from here to there. Well, then do you not want to eat beef anymore? Because that's what he's trying to bring your prices down because we don't have a home supply right now.
And you have been eating imported beef. You just don't realize you've been eating imported beef until there's a story about it.
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's one of the things that the Democrats, they got rid of country of origin labeling. So you don't know where any of your shit's coming from anymore, really.
Yeah, but we got a cow shortage right now, and it's going to take a couple generations to even replenish. So
yeah,
beef is going to spike.
Well, of course it is. I mean, beef is still one of the most popular things to eat in the country.
Damn right it is.
And it should be.
Even though I'm killing the planet every time I do it.
No. I'm saving the planet because I'm helping decrease the cow population by eating them.
Yeah. There you go. And did you see what was it, about a month ago in Reuters, they said that the environment is so bad right now that it's going to cause the next ice age.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm sorry. Wait. Global warming is just done now?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Ice Age.
Well, that's why they call it climate change now. But no, I mean, this goes into contradiction of another story that I saw that came out, I think, over the last couple of days, where and this was actually in the article. Polar bears are rewriting their genetic code so they can survive global warming. How the fuck are polar bears rewriting their genetic coding?
I'm just surprised they're still here because I was told by Al Gore they disappeared 10 years ago.
Long gone.
Like they were saying, it cracked me up when they said they would show these pictures of like a bear on an ice floe and he's supposedly drifting out to sea. The poor bear, they can swim for 60 miles. It's been cataloged, okay? they can cut the English Channel without a problem and shake off the water on the other bank.
And the other part that people forget is doesn't every single species evolve in one way or another on a regular basis? Like we used to be hunched over and have huge protruding jaws and all this other stuff. We used to have saber-toothed tigers. We had so many animals. Like I've said this for years. When you have this argument about stuff like this, it's like you had animals going extinct before humans even walked the face of the earth. Like this is just a natural thing. Unfortunately, even cute animals go extinct, and sometimes, they get hunted into extinction. But guess what? They were being hunted into extinction by animals before people showed up. Like this stuff does unfortunately happen, but it's also it goes back to Rick in the medicine earlier. Like sometimes we play God a little bit too much with our planet, even.
Well, I mean, this goes into the whole argument. I mean, I could almost see the global warming, global cooling, climate change group if they were talking about the extinction of our society, but they keep saying we're destroying the planet. We might eventually not be on it, but the planet's not going anywhere. Even if we nuke it, the planet's not going anywhere. Something's going to take our place eventually. I mean, that's like Mars. They're believing they're starting to find, signs of microbial life on Mars. Mars, as far as we knew, was a dead planet. They're now finding water sources that are possibly below surface and everything else. And I'm like, so see, the planet's still there. The planet's still trying to find a way to live. I mean, we can talk about the fact that we may wipe ourselves off the face of it, but let's face it, with as stupid as we are, that's probably going to happen at some point anyway, because we as a species like to go full retard.
I love it. Somebody brought up to me, they said, with all this stuff, would you ever go to Mars? And I'm like, I don't even like to rearrange the furniture in my house. Never mind move to I don't like moving up the street. Never mind moving to an entire, no.
I don't know.
There's one appeal to it though, and that is the like, what is it, a 1-year space flight to get there?
Yeah.
There's times I wouldn't mind leaving this planet
for a year
to
just
get
to
away from people. It's just like, I'm checking out. Put me on there, please.
But not even tell anyone though. Just be like, hey, I'm going on a trip. I'm going to be in airplane mode for a little bit, but I'll get back to you when I land.
I mean, seriously, at this point, this is what I think we should do with Mars. You remember how Great Britain used Australia as a prison colony?
Not a bad idea.
That would be a great approach to Mars.
It's amazing that Australia busted all those years to get out from under the thumb of the UK for the most part, because they were a prison colony and run by the UK, and now they're a prison colony run by themselves because they're imprisoning their own people. Which I mean, if you haven't looked at, BZ just had a great show last night with an Australian dude. If you haven't seen the rules and laws that they're changing in Australia and how absolutely totalitarian, authoritarian, scary side it is, people need to start checking it out because it's frightening. And the best part is the woman who's running most of it is a dual citizen woman born in Washington State.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay. We lost you for a second. What was that part after Washington State?
Oh, and she went to BU. She was an American. She's an American dual citizen in Australia, and she's the one who's spearheading all of this change that is just unbelievably draconian.
Well, see, I approve of this. She's doing it elsewhere, not here.
It's a trial, in my opinion.
Well, to be fair, the Pacific Northwest is where all the commies go back every 3 years to spawn. So that's surprising.
You're not wrong.
Did you see what they did with the World Cup up there?
I did not.
They're having an LGBT Pi awareness day or something for the World Cup qualifier that's there. 2 of the countries are Iran and Iraq that outlaw homosexuality.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Keep it real.
Wonderful planning there, guys.
So we keep drifting based on things that you're bringing up, but this brings up another thing that I saw today. I believe it was an Episcopalian priest, on X, talking about how, according to the Bible, life happens when breath is breathed in the nostrils, because that's what God did to Adam. And I'm like, dude, Adam wasn't in a womb, you dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to start cherry picking Bible verses, at least realize that, if you're going to take the full creation story at complete face value, that means there was no way for Adam to be alive until God breathed into him, because he didn't exist until then.
Yeah, he was jump started.
I mean, a little different. All right, so guys, we have officially gone well into overtime, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. So, who's got favorite children, and which ones are we talking about today?
Go ahead.
Well, I got a pair I can throw at you quick.
Brad's got twins.
I'm breathing life into two stories.
Well played, sir. Well played.
First one is Ken Delaney over at MS Now, what used to be MSNBC, and he had a breaking story from the FBI where Kash Patel was using FBI agents to take his girlfriend's friends home who were drunk, and using FBI sources to do this. Based on 3 people familiar with what took place.
Oh.
Now,
Oh.
again, it's the anonymous sourcing is rather obvious, but what got me was he didn't say people inside the agency. He didn't say sources at the FBI. He said 3 people familiar with what took place. So it's like, sounds like the bartender.
The bartender, the
valet.
homeless guy outside, and a friend of a friend who thought he heard something.
Yeah, this drunk guy pointed. Yeah. But the spokesman for the FBI definitively said this didn't happen. He said, I spoke to both parties. I spoke to numerous people at the agency. And then he goes to Ken Delaney and himself, and he's like, hey, tell me, who can I go to find out about this? Because I've been searching. And they're like, we stand by our story. And what? It's like he's trying to help you break the story open. Like he wants to find who was behind this. And he's like, people.
Human. Well, and it goes back to the credibility that or lack thereof that we've seen in media for so long, right? How many stories have been debunked recently? Like the New York Times story on the boat attacks and stuff like that, where it's like all of this has been disproven, and you're still running follow-up stories on it.
To this day, they still talk about Trump saying suckers and losers, and that was debunked back in 2018. It was ridiculous. But the best of all is Delaney in the piece said that the spokesman refused to even comment about this, and the spokesman came out and gave a dialogue transcript. He's like, this is what I asked them. This is when I told them it didn't happen. I told them who I spoke to. I asked them who I could go to find more, and then they edited the piece and just said he denied that it took place.
Well, yeah. Well, he
didn't completely unraveled it.
When what we meant was the spokesperson didn't say what we thought and hoped they were going to say, so they didn't really say anything. If that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, this is like a 1,200 word essay about how horrible Kash Patel is, and has to go with one sentence that said the spokesman denied that this ever took place. Yeah. It's like ass. The other one, this one I love to death though. This is Godwin's Law to the 10th degree. At the State Department, they've made an official announcement that they're changing the font that's going to be used on official documents. This was done to eliminate DEI within the State Department. And then a guy that used to work over at Voice of America came out and declared that this is just like when Hitler banned Jewish font and Jewish typeface from his Third Reich. Changing fonts makes him Hitler. And I even wrote back to the guy. I was like, now, if you look at the piece you referenced, it said they're reverting back to Times Roman, which means that had been changed, by Anthony Blinken in 2023 because they wanted a more sensitive type. Blinken was the one who changed it, so he's Hitler according to you.
Yeah, it's a matter of which way you want to use Hitler in that. Everything. Look, everybody's Hitler. That's the other great thing that they still do. And despite the fact that media is polling like lower than herpes and rectal thermometry. They still will not change direction, and it is blowing my mind, man.
Oh, I do this in my podcast all the time. It's like it's my press paradox where I'm amazed that they're doing this, and I'm not at all surprised that they do this because they refuse to alter anything. It's like dumb shits. It ain't working. Is this ever going to occur? He's Hitler.
He's always Hitler. Always Hitler. No matter what.
You know who used Helvetica? The Nazis. Yeah. I mean, you dipshits.
Well, my favorite thing about all that is when you get the people that have read just enough history where they think they know everything, but they're just really dangerous. Well, Hitler only used the word socialist to try to attract people from the working party. He didn't actually mean it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's to the point where you could have Velcro shoes and they'll say Hitler banned shoelaces. You're a Nazi.
You know who else liked to eat bacon and eggs? Hitler. You know who else got haircuts? Hitler.
You know who likes to drink water?
Yep.
I heard he had a dog.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't put it on. At least he didn't put it on the in a kennel on the top of a car.
Yeah. Well, hey, dog's gonna ride somewhere.
I mean, the funny thing about that whole story is these are the same people that before they stopped, pressurizing the luggage areas would put their pets in with the luggage, but they're mad that he put the dog on the top of the car. The dog would be sticking his head out the window the entire fucking time anyway.
Yeah, it's just anything and everything. Speaking of, I got one. I titled it "It's Only a Matter of Time." The fact that people are finally saying, "Hey, maybe Candace Owens is a little crazy."
That only took about 20 years too long.
Yeah. And look, back in the day, Candace said some good things, and I won't deny that. And there are some things that she said that I supported, and I won't deny that. But it is blowing my mind in the last couple months how far she's gone off the rails. Sarah Fields had a great post on X that says, according to Candace Owens, this is all the people to blame the assassination of Charlie Kirk based on her own public statements on X and her podcast. The French government, French Foreign Legion, Gendarme Intervention Group, Israel, Jewish donors, U.S. government, Deep State, Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk, Blake Neff, Pastor Rob McCoy, Josh Hammer, Pierre DuPont, Stacey. This is all that Candace has said has led to it. And it goes on and on and on. And I don't understand what took so long. And now what really prompted my article is that Tim Pool from Timcast, they showed up and shot at his property after she went on a rant about him on one of her shows last week or whatever. And it's like, why? I wrote an article too on X called Welcome to X, Stop the Grift type of thing, where I'm talking about why are we still giving oxygen and clicks and links and likes to people who are so fucking batshit crazy. And I see conservatives do it all the time where they're like, oh no, Candace is, I'm just going to automatically retweet and I'm just going to automatically. I wrote the article, said, welcome to X, essentially saying, I understand it's free to click and retweet, but start being a little bit more selective, because the same people that we all complain about that are destroying the right now and ripping apart MAGA are the same ones you're giving oxygen to, Nick Fuentes and the other ones, by clicking this retweet button every time you see anything posted about them, and they're making money off of it. And why are we still doing that? Like, you have all of this technology in your hand, all of this ability to just scroll past it and not click on that person or watch their YouTube, and you're all still doing it.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, this takes us back full circle. We keep asking ourselves, can we do something, instead of asking us if we should do something.
Agreed. Agreed.
Same thing with social media. I mean, and the thing about it is, the thing with Candace and the other rage grift mob grifters is they have figured out how to tap into the rights version of outrage culture, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, when you look at when you start seeing reports of Candace's bottom line and she's making high six figures per episode, then she's definitely figured out how to tap into the rights outrage culture. And and to answer your question, there are some things that I will sometimes repost, but I will normally put something above it so people know why I'm reposting it.
Okay.
And It's because, I want you to see the crazy that I just had to see.
Well, the other problem too that's stemming from this, like look at Tucker Carlson. He's gone off the reservation in the last year or so. And there's so many on the left now that are using his batshittery to label the rest of conservatism. And I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, someone said, you won't even condemn what he said. It's like, I sure as hell will. His stance with the Jews now is damn ridiculous, and I don't have a problem saying it. They didn't know how to respond to that. They thought it's, you're blind allegiance, so it's Tucker. I have to believe.
Well, I mean,
no. He's screwed up in the head somehow.
The thing with Tucker that everybody seems to have forgotten is he's a fucking Nepo baby that got his start on MSNBC anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, what he's done is now that he doesn't have a producer reining his ass in, he's just talking about whatever the hell pops in his head.
Well, and
because he doesn't have a director saying maybe don't sit down with Nick Fuentes. Probably not a good idea, Tucker.
I think one of the things with Tucker is, and I think it's exposed more than anything else, is it's always just been about being sensationalized versus actually having any substance to what you believe in. Because you look at just whatever is a hot topic or whatever is, and I know that's like a job of a presenter, right? I mean, all my stories are usually hot topics too, but whatever is a really divisive topic, he will go and get what is the negative side of that story. Like all the times that he's gone to Russia in the middle of the Russia-Ukraine war, right? Nick Fuentes right now being against the Jews right now, when there's it shows that it's like it has nothing to do with what's in his heart per se, as much as it is about making a couple bucks in sensationalism. And he had the name recognition to go out on his own and do that.
Yeah, he's being the edgy contrarian.
Yeah. And he's not doing it for substance. He's not doing it because he believes it. He's just doing it because it's free money. And people just continue to not see through that grift with him.
Well, I mean, and there's some people that just don't care. That's the part. There are just people that just digest it, and then and again, the right is developing its own form of brainwashing, because there are people that are on the extreme right now that believe everything that Candace says and everything that Tucker says, and I'm like, do you guys just not think for yourselves at all anymore? And that's go ahead.
I don't even think they're on the extreme right. I think they're more anarchists, right? I mean, where it's just fuck everything, fuck all these people, fuck this, fuck that, and blah, 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 blah. It's not, because Candace isn't even extreme right anymore. She's on this whole just different plane of existence, and Tucker kind of is too. But they will put the most recent association with her and Tucker. Tucker was on Fox, so he's a conservative, and he said a lot of conservative things, but he also, remember who his father was. His father was a CIA operative for years. He knows media. He knows how to manipulate all that stuff. Candace Owens too. Oh, well, she was with Charlie, so all the stuff about Charlie must be true. Really? Is she really a conservative? She just put out a post the other day talking about how like cheating is awesome on your spouse or something to that effect. I don't know exactly. I don't remember the exact wording on it, but it's like, well, that's not really a conservative value. I mean, just a lot of stuff she says isn't. So it's just, it does blow my mind how, you see people, the mask falls off, and instead of people saying, wow, what a shitbag this person turned out to be, they're just all like, well, he's making a couple of really good points. And it's like, okay, well, you sound like a cokehead who'd be sitting in a bathroom with Hitler if he had cocaine, where it's like, this guy's starting to make sense. He's okay. He's not that bad. Can I get a bump? You know what I mean? Like, it's just weird to me.
Well, for anybody who's of the mind that cheating on your spouse is a good thing, just ask Sharon Moore.
So we really are going full circle with all of it, aren't we? We're really going right back to the beginning.
I've warned you guys in advance. I'm really good at 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. So.
Well, that's all I got.
Passing, going, collecting 200.
All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it, because I've got a couple errands I have to run. There will not be a He Said, She Said tonight. Aggie is at a family reunion, I believe, but I do want to remind everybody that a week from
that's the best part of the show too, is Aggie.
Yeah, right. My co-presenters are always the best parts of my show. That's the whole point. But anyway, so next week, same in the He Said, She Said time slot, we will be having the KLRN Radio players present The Wizard of Oz. Our winter play actually airs next week. So make sure you guys are back for that. Now that I've done the pimping for that, Brad, where can folks find you? Because I know you and me take the longest.
Well, I'm daily over at townhall.com with my media column, Rift from the Headlines. I'm also on the front page of Red State, and I got a twice weekly podcast there called Liable Sources, where I go even further into the mire that is our mainstream media, and right here at KLRN. On Thursday night, you can hear me with Paul Young from Screen Rant. We go in the dark side of Hollywood and bad movies with Disasters in the Making. And alternate Thursdays, it's me and Orty Packard on The Culture Shift, where we bring you the business side of show business and backstage of the entertainment industry. And Tuesday nights, it's me and Aggie Reekin as we have the Cocktail Lounge, where we talk college football, drinking, crazy ass news, and just try to have fun and distract you for a while. And if you need more of me, go to Jitter. I'm at Martini Shark.
And Sean, where can folks find you?
Every Monday, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific on SHR Media. The Edge of Liberty is the name of my show. Writing on shrmedia.com and theloftusparty.com. I'm a contributor over there as well. Make little appearances here and there on other shows. And on X, you can find me the number 2 Against Tyranny.
All right. As for me, hopefully next week things start returning back to normal. So tonight, no show. Tomorrow night, makeup juxtaposition. Sunday night, I will probably not do my usual Sunday night show. That probably won't spin up till the following week. Monday night, America Off the Rails. Tuesday, back doing the daily, usually starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then Tuesday night, Manorama with usually myself, Vincent Charles, the Amish one, and some random Canadians. Other than that, please feel free to check our schedule because I'm involved in about 80% of our content in one form or the other. You can find that at klrnradio.com/schedule. You can also find me at RowdyRick73. You can follow along with the radio stuff at KLRN Radio. You can follow along with our news branch at Digital Beacon US. And you can find me as an occasional contributor to Twitchy.com, MisfitsPolitics.com, and theloftusparty.com, where I produce the podcast, which has kind of been my routine contribution to them lately. So that usually drops on Tuesdays. That's going to do it for us. Glad to be back in the chair. It's been a minute. I will see you guys hopefully next week, and hopefully some of you come hang out for The Wizard of Oz next Friday and Juxtaposition tomorrow night. Bye, everybody.
See ya.